Believe that we in the UK and Europe shot forward. We sprung forward for springtime. And so we're at a slightly different time for some of the rest of you in the world, but we are live regardless. Because I said 12 o'clock GMT twice a day, every day. Well, once a day. 12 o'clock GMT only happens once a day. But I said 2 streams a day, twice a day, every day for a month, and I meant it. And so today we are going to be talking about, let me see. Today we're going to be talking about aesthetics again. We're doing more aesthetics. We're going to stay on this theme for a while, and we're going to look at some of the in-game features that help you make your worlds look the part. Yesterday we looked at aesthetics as banners. What could we do with making banners as letters, as numbers, as guidance, references, messages for kids, and so on, so on. But today we're going to be looking at maps. What does it look like in Minecraft to play around with maps? And so let's start a new world as we always do. So we're going to go play new world. We're just going to call this one maps, creative, peaceful, because we don't want any monsters. This doesn't matter. Infinite, because I just want an infinite world. And then always day. Show coordinates is good practice. Show classroom settings, perfect weather. That will do nicely. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a basic map to show you first of all. There we are. So let's see what this world has to behold. This is our, oh wow. So we have a large tundra. And then we have forests and mountains and plains. This is great. Okay, oh, and there's my usual village. There's always a village nearby. They're definitely spawning more in newer versions of Minecraft. In Bedrock. Okay, so let's have a look around. So if we wanted to map this area and find out where we were, we could just go into Minecraft and we could get ourselves, well, first of all, we can get ourselves a map. And if we put in map, we get a locator map and an empty map. I'm going to take one of each. And then I'm going to use this map. You'll see that there's nothing on it. It's just a white, good morning, Catherine and Jake. We're just going to look around and there's nothing on it. You can see there on the right hand side down in the bottom corner, there's nothing on this map. Until I stand over a certain area and I right click. And what happens is I then get map 1. And you can see there that if I move around, it fills out in the top left until eventually I have a map of where I want it to be. There we are. So now I can see roughly what it is that I'm looking at. So let's see if we can identify some of this. So let me just go back to over here to roughly where we took it. So there's that funny shaped little piece of, what does that look like? It looks like a little head on shoulders. Can we identify that down here? I actually can't. Look at that. But we know that there's a piece of green down there. So let's have a look at that. There's a square. What does that look like? And inside that piece of green there's an immediate little pond, which is probably this, actually. So we've probably just captured this with this little square. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, there we are. Okay, quite happy with that. Although that would mean water was right next to it, and that's not right either. So I actually find it easier to create a locator map. Let's go back to the same place and see what the difference is. And a locator map, if I right click now, tells me where I am. So it turns out you can see now in the bottom left of the map it said Stephen R, and it shows me what direction I'm facing. So I tend to use creator map. So I had it totally wrong. Look at that. It turns out it's actually up here that we're looking. See, my orientation was way out because I couldn't really read the map. So now I should be over a small body of water. Yeah, there we are. And this is the green that we were talking about. Oh no, it was the right place, wasn't it? Man, I'm confused. Yeah, it was the right place. Look, there's that little bit. But in a totally different place, because on the locator map we're now off map, so it wasn't the bottom left piece of green at all. I was way off. And so it turns out it was up there. Now that we're off the map, you'll see if we face this way and go off the map, we can take another locator map and do this. And this time we have the adjoining map. So we can look to here, and this is us. If you watch my icon in the top left of the map, you'll see that any second now I'm going to join the map. And if I pull backwards, you'll see that I am going to go into what is obviously the next map, and so I can have a look at that, and there I am moving backwards. So we have an adjoining map. I'll swap out as I get to here, and swap. There I am there. And as I go back, when I get to the edge of the map, swap. That's not ideal though, right? I mean, it's not ideal. What I'll do is I'll go this way, and I'll create another one. So that's me clearly off the map. You only have to do it once. You only have to be in the area of the map for it to create a third one. And then you can see we're now moving up. I'm then going to move backwards just to complete. Sometimes it doesn't always capture, there we are. Sometimes it doesn't always capture the edges of the map. Now, this is relatively helpful if we are looking to be somewhere or do something specifically. But where it becomes most helpful is when we put them on walls. So what we can do is, let me just head down to this wall here. And I'm just going to clear it off a bit. So we've got a nice big space to work from. And we're just going to call this our map wall. Right here. Let me just fix it so that it's all grey where we want us to be. There we are. Okay, that's going to be our map wall. And to make this, I need frame, what they call item frames. So I go into my inventory and I test for items, and I get myself an item frame. And then I can just place item frames on the wall. And this time, when I place a map on the wall, that's the wrong one actually. I need to do the locator map. There we are. That gives us this. Now the next one we worked out was there, right? Because if I put it there, that's not right. You can see that the divide is not right. But I could put it here. And what that does is, that gives us, and you can see where we are on this, we're actually currently here in this gap. This is our map area. And then what did I do? I think I went, no, that's maybe not right. That certainly isn't. Was it this way? It was that way. So then I went that way, because you can see the join here. As you can see on this side, it's not, there's a white line up there. It's not fully completed that map. We can go and sort that later. So suddenly we've got this lovely map area of this gorgeous space, which we can then, if we have it on the wall, the kids can say, right, I can see that this building is here and this building is here, and they can go and check that. And they can get their bearings, so they know that they're here, which means if we want to find this pond, we're going to go and find this pond with the sand around it. And according to us, we're facing this direction. So we're going to go forward from here, then we're going to go right. So let's go find it. So we're going to go forward from here, and then we're going to go right. And that wasn't right. Oh man, well no, it must be, because we're heading into, see, I'm terrible at map reading. If there's no, yeah. So that's not our, oh, that's our spawn. Sorry, that's where we spawned in. That's not where we are now. So where are we now? Let me just work this out. Where's our locator map? Where are we? We're not on this one. Yeah, we are. That's exactly where we are. We're right there. So to get to that, we actually have to go back. We're facing the wrong way. That's what's wrong. Our spawn is telling us that we're facing this way, but we're not. We're actually facing that way. So I need to go from here using my own map. I need to go backwards and then left in order to be able to find, there it is, and there's that pond. So our locator map has helped us to find that pond. Took me a bit, always does, but there we go. And then we head back, and then we're going to turn right, and we're going to go back to our war mapping room. There we go. And we can see what that looks like. And so let's just say I wanted to capture, so we're going to go back, we're going to go over to the pond. So let me just go back over to the pond. I'm going to capture these mountains. I'm going to get another locator map. I'm going to go over to the pond, which I think was, what did I do? It was back here, wasn't it? Yeah, there, it's there. And then I'm going to go forward to these mountains, and we're going to see where the mountains fit in. Yeah, absolutely, Baramok. Welcome to the stream again this morning. Glad to have you in. And Baramok says on Twitch, if you this is brilliant for treasure hunt activity. If you build stuff before using the locator map to start with, does it capture the buildings too? Yes, so I'm going to show you that next. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you next, once we've captured these mountains, I'm going to head over. Oh, there's something interesting. That red stuff is lava, and you'll see there that we haven't actually managed to capture all of that. So I'm going to fly until I've captured it all. You'll see it starts to become, there we are. And that's it been captured. Maybe the top corner there has a little triangle still not done. So I'll just hover over here. That should do it. There's a couple of wee bits missing, but that's okay. We'll head back. So absolutely, you can send kids on a treasure hunt and you can have the map on the wall, which is what we've done. In fact, I'll show you how we originally did this in the very, very early days, like 8 years ago, in one of the maps, and one of the worlds that I found recently. So let me see, if I'm right in saying that should be, oh, it's not. Oh, that's there. Or is it? Certainly not there. Oops. Not there and not there. Look at that. So now I have a mystery map. I believe that that mystery map belongs... I don't even know. Did we not go out there? Oh, I think I went further on. You know what? I actually think it's like here. I think I went the wrong way. This is awesome. See, I love this. I love this whole getting lost stuff. Can't be there. We just add another item frame and check for it. I am totally lost. I don't know where that piece of land is. You know what? I give in. Center left, do you reckon? So center... Yeah, it's not center left. Set down. It's not down there. Center right. It wasn't center right. Here's another thing you can do. And in fact, let me show you what maps can also be used for. And we'll come back to that and we'll see if we can solve that, because that's... I've clearly just gone too far. I've gone further in one area than I wanted to. But let me show you a... Is it that one or is it the other one? I'm going to show you a little preview of a world that's not been released yet, but it is coming and you guys want to watch out for this because it's on its way. And this is a map called Space Race. If I could find the thing, cannot be all the way down here. Actually, I'll tell you what, before I show you Space Race, and I will show you Space Race and show you how we've used the map in that, but before I do that, let me show you... I'm trying to think which world it would be in originally. Jungle biome, desert biome, space race. Oh, there we are. I could show you Space Race. So I'll just, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to click settings and that puts that to the top. You'll notice it's gone now. It's gone to the very top, which is handy. And then I'm also going to do, I think of these things ahead and then actually have it made up. Actually, a really good one to show would be Mathpocalypse. And we could do that one and show you how the buildings are in place in there. And then the other thing is Banner World, Gold Rush, Immersive Education, but it's not that one. It's the original and I can't remember what I called it. Anyway, nobody needs to see me scrolling through all these. Ah, there we go, Drama World. Right, okay, let's do this. So one of the things that we did originally, and this was about 8 years ago, was looking at mapping as... a world. Now, where did I do it? Where did I do it? I think it's over here. Welcome to the Tetris Hotel. Looks like heaven, could be hell. That was our, before the chemistry update. This was like 8 years ago. This was our chemistry, our table of elements, and the kids had to then find out what they were and label them according to the colours of the table. And of course, years later, 5 years later, the chemistry update was given to us. This was colour spectrum, how the kids could recognise the colour spectrum by lighting up the colours appropriately. DNA for biological science, and so on and so on. So when I say we've been doing this for like a decade, I genuinely mean it. Here. So this is what we did for mapping. So what we did was, this was kind of like we built a square, and then within that square we plotted it. And so you'll notice that this tree here with the stairs coming down it is that tree there with the stairs coming down it, which links to this building here, this platform. And on that platform is a giant QR code. And there's our giant QR code. And then this building here is that building there, which looks exactly, you see that it's like an upside down T shape. And if we head over to the actual building, it's an upside down T shape, and so on. And so we started to build these maps as solid objects, because back then mapping wasn't a thing in Minecraft. This was before maps were introduced. This kind of thing here is the world that sits over there. We're going to do a whole stream on that world shortly, etc. And so we then made the rivers and whatnot. And it was really important for us to be able to do that in order to be able to help kids to map. So you'll see there that this flag, although at a slightly different angle, is that flag there at that angle. And so we mapped like that. But then of course now what we can do is we can go in and we can get ourselves an empty locator map. And in answer to your question, Baramok, this is exactly what it looks like when you plot it. So now when we plot it, we can see that we have, you won't always be center. You'll notice I started in the top right hand corner. So there we are. So now we are standing above this big house. So you see that there. And so your buildings are in it. There's the top of the DNA strand. If I just head over to this section here, we're above the DNA strand. So we could have the children identify buildings that have been pre-built. Here we are. If we want to go down and map next to the Tetris Hotel, we would get ourselves the next one, which would be here, and then give ourselves an empty locator map. And there's the next section. So let's head over to the world now. And you can see if we just stand here, we should be on top of the globe. There we are, we're on top of the globe. And so the buildings that are in place beforehand will be mapped onto the map. In fact, it's live. So here's the thing, Baramok, if you build afterwards, so I tell you what, let's go down onto the world. Let's go down and add a B for Barry. I know it's not Barry, incidentally, but I'm just going to say B for Baramok. Here we are. And if I now go into my map, you'll see it's oh, here it comes. It just needs time to update. Just need to hover over it enough. Come on. It's updating. You can see that, right? It's not going to give me the bottom for some reason. I might have to go out and back in again. It just takes a moment to update, but basically you can see that it's updated live. So that's it, it's done it now. So now you can see on the map above the globe, we've got that B shape. We're technically at the wrong angle for it, of course. But let me show you how you can fix that as well. You can orientate these maps. So if I just head down into this wall here, by the way, anybody using Plickers in their school, Plickers works in Minecraft. We worked with a Plickers system to recreate it. I'll do a stream on that actually. If anybody's still using Plickers. Let's go to, no disrespect to Plickers, I haven't seen it used in schools for a while. And what we can do is we can say, right, that was that one, and we know that the other one was the Tetris Hotel. Was it that one or that one? It certainly wasn't that, so it must have been, there we are, that's it. So that's our two. But what we could do is if we wanted to, Plickers, P-L-I-C-K-E-R-S, Plickers is a voting system. I'll do a stream on it someday. It's basically a voting system that kids can use, can orientate an image to tell an app on your phone whether they've chosen A, B, C or D. It's kind of an audience participation voting system that you can use in your classroom. It's really good. If I right click on this now, let's just get off of this so I've got nothing else in my hand. If I right click on this, I can orientate it the way I want. And so although it's automatically said we're going to make the maps face this way, you can decide to change that, which means, of course, automatically we now know that this is in the wrong place. So I'm just going to take that away and add another row, and let's see where this now belongs. So it belongs there, but it doesn't actually fit there. What we're going to have to do is orientate it properly, and that's not right. That's because it's the same map. Sorry, it's that one. So if I do, which would it be? There. So I orientated that 3 times. So now instead of it being there, it's there because we've orientated it properly. So it just depends which way you want to do it, but you can turn the maps to get them to have a little look at where they want the world to and that actually makes more sense to me because the globe is behind me now. Technically the building is, where's the building? So the building's over there to my right. So even that's not right, to be honest. I think based on where I'm standing with Plickers, I would have preferred it the way it was, but that's okay. But you can orientate that. Now, as a map, that's not necessarily a problem, but let me just save and exit this. Let me take you to where maps can be really quite complicated, where we have created, what was the one I was going to show you at the top there? Oh yeah, Space Race, right, okay. So I'll show you Space Race quickly, and then I'll move on to the art world and show you where maps can be used to do entirely different things that will blow your mind. And so this is a sneak peek of a world that is coming. This is a competitive chemistry world where the children basically have to compete in space to survive and create the conditions for life inside this giant dome, green versus yellow. Now, watch this space. It's on its way. This is a sneak preview for you special people who are dedicated to my stream. And so what I'm going to do is I'll show you as you fly out here there are planets. So we've got a planet with life, and in the background there's some sort of sun planet, and over here is a desert planet, an ocean planet, and so on. And so these planets are all over the place. But if I head indoors, right? Well, it's coming soon, and it's going to be free for schools, Baramok. It's going to be on the marketplace as a competitive gameplay, but we are releasing a free version for schools as a chemistry, basically as a science lesson. But if I head into the bases here for the kids, you'll see that we've mapped the moon. So we've actually mapped, and you can see where the planets are creeping in. So if I look out the window here, and we look, where would that be? It depends on the orientation of the planet. So there's our sign. See this flat area here? This flat area is our sign, and our sign is currently over there, which means if we look behind our sign and right, we'll see a purple planet, which is that one with the rings around it. So that's our purple planet, and then that means that that planet there is the opposite. So that purpley planet with moons on it should be, if we're looking there, that should be over there. Kind of tricky to see, but it's over there through that glass. And so what we're able to do is map this. In fact, there's an obvious one. There's the space shuttle, which is behind us right now because that's our site. So the space shuttle is over. You can just see it through the glass there, the floating space shuttle. And so what we can do is we can map what worlds look like for children and help them to orientate. So they can come and look at the map and go, right, I get it now. I see where I am. This is what I'm looking at. And then they orientate themselves. Crashed planet, crashed meteor. This is where they know they're going to get sulfates that they can use for fuel systems. This is where they know they can get electronics to create redstone that then allows them to light up their moon base and so on. So it's all going to be about, basically, if any of you have seen Mars with Matt Damon and the chemistry set is going to be through here. But if any of you have seen the movie Mars with Matt Damon, basically the kids are going to have to science this out of this map in order to survive. And if they're not learning science, they're not surviving. So I'm just going to save and exit that. But that was a great example of how a map can be made. And then we are going to go to, let me show you another version of maps. Oh yeah, Art World. Let me see, Immersive Education, Demo Worlds, Build the Barracks. So many. Where's the art world? I wish there was a search. The lack of a search is really, really quite. I think that's a big hole in the design. of this system. For any UX designer that was making this happen, that's a big hole. So we'll be requesting that's, well, I have been requesting that's fixed. There we are. And so now, when we head in, and actually I'd be quite interested to see what happens if we map the floor of the Sistine Chapel. So as some of you know, we made the Sistine Chapel in Minecraft. And as we head through here, we created the Sistine Chapel 1 to 17,000 scale, give or take. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself a locator map and then just see what that looks like. Oh, there we are. It's actually larger than I thought. It's not going to do the walls, obviously. It's only going to do the floor, but let's head straight on and do another one. That'll look like pretty much the same. We would have to be, where would we have to be? We'd have to be outside this wall to have the paintings on the wall. These paintings here, they were built using a combination of hand. So you'll see here, if I just move in, you'll see that they're actually just hand built. So it's things like yellow glazed terracotta, mushroom, pink terracotta, cobblestone. And we have incredible artists. There's one particular artist that works on our team, fantastic man called Adam Clark, whose brain is just, it should be put in a jar when he passes away, hopefully in many, many decades to come. And it should be put in a jar, and then it should have like things like legs and stuff, and it can move around and still talk to people or whatever, because it's incredible. And then a third-party software which then takes the images and maps them and sort of says this is what this is going to look like. And then what we do is we go in afterwards and we fix it, and we say, right, we know that this was meant to be a tree. We know that this was, so I think if we move out, there's some really nice ones looking on the other side. So they're based on, it's basically like overlaying the real fresco and then saying to Minecraft, match this. And then we go in and we fix it and we make it look more like, I think it's that one there that you can see. This was a Sermon on the Mount or whatever it was, and there was the building in the background and so on, and the people kneeling and so on. If you blur your eyes, it kind of looks a lot more like it. This was the Last Supper, I believe, or certainly. Yeah, that was one of the dinner pictures and so on, and then the one at the end with the cherubs and things on it. And so it's super clever. It requires a lot of fixing afterwards. So something like this takes several months to build, but ultimately, though, if you have the time and the patience and you have the dedication to building something like this, it's really well worth it. And so, but the map itself of the floor ends up looking like, because there's the floor itself. That's what the actual floor looks like. I got in trouble in the Sistine Chapel for filming, and I was doing it secretly, and the guy actually grabbed me, like forcibly grabbed my shoulder and my arm and was like, shouted at me in Italian and tried to take my phone. And I was like, I didn't realise. I was just taking a picture. But he was okay. I mean, afterwards he was just like, put it in your pocket. And I put it in my pocket and it was fine. But man, did I get in trouble. And so, Jamilia, on Facebook, yes, we are recording these streams. And so these streams are going out to youtube.com/c/immersive minds. And you can catch them all. There. However, my point here was we can't map the walls, but we can map the floors. It only ever maps what's below you. So while I would love to map these walls, I would have to orientate them using a third-party software or rebuild them facing down the way. And that can be done. And actually, it's given me an idea. Adam, if you're listening, I have an idea. But Adam hates when I have ideas. I'm like, Adam, I have an idea. And he's like, oh, there goes another 4 hours of my life. But what I'd like to show you is this. The reason I came into this world is because these are maps. And what we've done is, this is totally different, and this is something I'll do a I'll do a stream on way later on in the month, but I just wanted to show you the power of the map. So if I orientate this part, you'll see, just like any other map, it actually turns round. It's just a map like any other. If I get rid of this part, I can put it back, or I could put it somewhere else. So I'm just going to take, where are we? Let's just take his face. I'm just going to do that there. I need to be really careful that I don't get rid of them and put the Mona Lisa in there. And so we can start to create puzzles for our children with classical paintings. It's one of the things that we've done. One of the lessons in this is put the paintings back in the correct order, for example. But with the Mona Lisa, in fact, let's just get this guy's face back in there. These are actual paintings, and you'll see if we zoom in on them, they are pixelated because we've created them to such a high degree, and then we've pushed them down into maps, and then we put them on the wall. And there's two ways you can do this. When we first started doing this, and you're not going to believe this, but it's amazing what our teams have done over the years. What we used to do was we used to build these block at a time. So we would get that color palette, and we would have a double screen, and we would literally build those piece at a time. And then we would go above them, way above them, and we would take map photographs, and this is roughly what we'd end up with. Nothing even close to this. Well, actually, I'm saying nothing close to this detail. Our artists did remarkable stuff. It would be unfair of me to say that they didn't. And we used glass to get different color effects and things, which I'll show you in this same world. But what we now do is we use a third-party software, which still takes time, and there's 3 different programs involved, but we can take the stuff in, and we can, from Google, for example, just take a Google photograph image of this painting, and then seek permissions, of course, which we have. And then what you can then do is you can copy them over using a third-party software, and it pixelates them for you, and then we can then turn them into maps. We basically put them in huge flat platforms, and then we orientate them from vertical to horizontal, and then we go over them and we take photographs of them, and we end up with them. You know what, Catherine's question is, wasn't that prohibitively expensive? It's expensive. It's very expensive. But when clients want something, I mean, we work with all sorts. We work with museums, art galleries, we work with Lego, we work with Microsoft, we work with clients that want stuff, and they come to us and say, I mean, we're working with some amazing charities at the moment that are like, I want it to be exactly like this, and it has to do this. And I say to them, well, you know, that's gonna be tricky. And they say, I don't care, just get it done. And so prohibitively depends on, I suppose, who's holding the budget or who has the time constraints. I just have this wonderful team of people that can do what I asked them to do because the client asked. And so sometimes I think, wow, you're genuinely asking me to do something like this, and it's going to take 5 days, and it's going to take 2 of my designers to make that happen. And if you want to pay 5 days for 2 of my designers, then that's what it costs. The great thing is, the way I tend to work is I say to my clients, once we're finished with this, it must be free to education and homeschoolers. And invariably, we get permission to do that. Alternatively, we might have to put it on the marketplace and charge $5 for it. Or we might have to, like the Phygital Lab stuff, I think you can buy this Art World for $10, which is what, £8 in Britain. And I mean, I think considering the time, I think it's not prohibitively expensive for people to buy, I think. So I try to cut a deal with them and say, that's why the Space World and everything is going to be free for everyone, because I'm working with the client, and we won't release who that is at the moment, but I'm working with the client on that. And one of my deals was, I'll build this for you. You can use it to run your project, but once we're finished, this goes out free to everyone. And that was their intention anyway. Their intention was that everyone could reach this. And so I love working on projects like that. So, but I also don't think it's too much to ask for somebody who wants to use quality resources like this, relevant, meaningful, quality resources, to pay a little something at their end. You know, here's $5 or $8, and that might be a donation, or it might be a website cost. You know, you purchase it for $5 or whatever. But let me show you the other way we do these things. If we head through to, and I'm going to do a whole stream on this world, so I'm kind of cutting ahead. I mean, if you look at something like this is incredible. This is let me just clear my inventory. This is Claude Monet and his Impressionism. But I mean, that's just outstanding range of colours. And as we zoom out, we can see that it's actually that. So what we can achieve with maps, and I suppose this is why I'm showing you this, because this is Minecraft aesthetics. What is it we can do that help us to achieve these fantastic visions and images? And if we head through and we fly up to these paintings, this is one of Claude Monet's paintings, and it's been created, again, a stitch of a third-party software that kind of captures the imagery for you, and then manually creating some of the color strands and the layering is what we've done. Is we've created this. But the reason we're able to get the color, thanks for hosting me, Same Coyote, the reason we've been able to get the color range that we have, rather than just the standard, if we just go into concrete, for example, and this is one of an amazing designer that works with me called Nick, who sort of came up with this concept. But rather than using the limited and quite bright palette that Minecraft has to offer, we layered these with glass. And so you'll see there that this bit is layered. There's white layered with blue, and then there's blue layered with white, and then there's an orange block layered with purple glass, and then what else have we got? Let's just look for a slightly different one. There we go. There's brown layered with pink, red brick layered with white. There's a sort of a mushroom fawn layered with white. In fact, there's a piece of ice layered with red. And what it means is when we come back from there, we have millions of colours, like quite literally 256 million colours if you times, because it's an algorithm, right? It's just a mathematics. If you times this number of colours by the number of glass, by the number of materials, you have millions and millions of colours. And so if we're clever about it, we can quite literally recreate. Let me show you what we can recreate. So there she is. There's the one that we just showed you, but this is made using only blocks. That's it. That was all it was. That was all that was used, was only blocks. And so we can see that this is Woman with Parasol, which is the one we looked at inside. And so it's not that difficult. And actually, Baramok, the lesson that's in here, this world took 8 months to build. So again, it's one of those little pieces of things where teachers will quite often say to me, and I know anybody who's watching this is not necessarily in this boat, but quite often we're met with resistance when teachers say to me, why would I pay for this? This is just Minecraft. And I'm like, it's not just Minecraft. It's the lesson time that went into it. It's the thinking, it's the skills, it's the art, it's the coding, it's the mathematics, it's the everything that went into creating this. And then what you can do with it in your classroom. And these are just ideas. I mean, I don't expect people to use my worlds foolproof forever. I want this to spawn ideas for their own worlds. And so we've also given a class set of a nice class set of canvases so the kids can create their own. So we encourage the kids to, you know, I'm just going to make this real simple, but if we take some yellow and we paint a face, for example. So they're at a slight angle because that's the truth about canvases, but what if we were to get the kids to do a face, and then we get them to put in an eye and some lips. Here we go. Ta-da! I'll tell you something. Considering my degree is actually in art, that is mortifying. But if we there we go. There we go. That's my happy face. And we just get the kids to create their own. And I think that's fantastic. But so there we go. So I'm going to do a whole stream on this world. But I'm going to quit out of this. I wanted to show you that because for me, it's really, really important that you understand what maps can achieve for you. So just heading back to the original world, which was our, I was going to show you Mathpocalypse In fact, you know what? Let's do that. Let's finish on Mathpocalypse and show you what a map can truly do if you have a really interesting world rather than just a whole world. We've actually got a world that's just an island built like a human hand. And so what would that look like in map format? So let's just do clear, and then we're going to do oops, that's me getting my controls wrong. We're going to do map, and we'll just get ourselves a locator map, and let's see. Now I think I've already done this in full, but I'm just going to take this map and then read it and see where I am. Here we are. We're at the base of the hand. And the map is upside down because I know that that is the bridge that's linking to the island, but that's okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another one. And then I'm just going to fly on to the end of the fingers here. Because if we look at this map, we've got... It's not going to let us. There. So let's see. Let's fly back and see what's going on with, first of all, this one. There we are. And then secondly, this one. Move this way just so I can capture that, and then that's what we'll do. Actually, we'll head off to the side. Let's head off to this side and capture another one, and we're going to head backwards from here and another, and then let's just do one more and we'll see what part of the hand we've managed to catch. I'm going to hit the finger now. Look at that. Okay, let's see if we can capture this. Okay, and then I'm just going to... You have to go to it to... There we are, to exact it. All right. So let's go and see what we've managed to capture. We'll go and get our frames. Remember your item frames. They're the things that you stick the wall, stick the maps to the wall with. So let's try this. Let's go to... that's because I'm repeating myself in my head. There we are. And let's just see what we've managed, to capture. And then we're going to, I think it was that one. And I'm going to turn it upside down. We didn't capture all of it there, actually. I should have gone and captured all of it. Oh, that was just the same piece. Oh, no, it wasn't. Aha, there we are. That was the back of the wrist. That was the hand. And then I think we went ahead, didn't we? Have I missed one? I think I've missed one. Look at that. I've missed most of the city. Let's go capture that now. I didn't think we had. I thought we hadn't missed that, but we obviously did. So let's just capture that now. Yeah, that was it. I'd missed that one. And let's put that one up there. There we are. Which means I now need one at the top, which was my fingers one. No, fingers one. There we are. And suddenly we are able to see the shape of what it is that'd be that one. Then that would be that one. We didn't capture all of that. And then I think I went beyond. There we are. So you can see now that we're starting to capture the shape of what is like the moon. It's a really interesting shape. And in fact, I think I've done this somewhere. I'm just going to get rid of this and go and see. I just need to check one thing. I think I've already built it. I'm glad you enjoy these sessions, Baramok. We're almost done with this one, but tomorrow we're going to be doing more aesthetics. I think for the sort of like next 2 or 3 days, I'm just going to be doing aesthetics. What are the aspects of Minecraft worlds that can both be functional and help your world to look and function in the way that you want it to and feel the way you want it to? I think that's really important. I'm going to head off the end of the map here. So sometimes in order for us to stop kids just wandering off into miles and miles of endless ocean, we just end the map. And so I'm going to do that. You'll see that it just becomes grass at the end. The kids are like, oh, there's nowhere else to go. But if I look over the edge... No, I didn't. I thought I had built a map along here. Is that it there? No, I thought I had. I did do that, but I obviously didn't do it in the final version, which is fine. And so that's okay. And so yeah, so basically that ends this stream. Hopefully helping you to see yet another tool in there. As a teacher, you look at that and you think, oh wow, we could do you know, we could do geographical. I mean, one of the things we did with mapping, which I didn't build up, was archaeological digs. And what we did was we got the maps, and when you looked down at the maps, you could tell where a settlement had been, because I, as a teacher, had gone down, and where there was light green, I had built dark green suggestions of buildings, and underneath those dark green material suggestions of where an Iron Age building had once been, we had actually hidden an Iron Age building. So the kids had to look at the map and they had to decide what were the anomalies, just like archaeologists do now. And they were like, oh, there's slightly raised areas there, or there's slightly darker areas there. And then they went and they dug, and they found out that where they dug, they'd actually identified real hidden buildings. I mean, it wasn't professional by any stretch. It was just little things for them to find. But it was great because they were just like, we identified that from a map from above, and that's exactly what archaeologists are doing now. We actually have an archaeological dig coming up later on in the month, and I'm looking for volunteers for that. And so, yeah, if you have any questions, message me on Facebook or Twitter. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Mixer. That's twitch.tv/immersive minds. Mixer.com/immersive minds, and also check out youtube.com/c/immersive minds for all of my streams contained there for you to watch whenever you wish. Thanks very much for tuning in on this Sunday. I will see you in 5 hours time for my second one of the day. Bye everyone, have a great day. Stay safe, stay indoors, stay healthy. Bye.